why you should consider starting your own business. If you're reading this, maybe you're still undecided on starting your own business, which is fine. It's not the kind of decision that you should take lightly. Is it even worth the trouble? Should you really start your small business and invest your savings, not to mention your time and effort? The answer is yes, it's certainly worth it. Here's why. More money. Right off the bat, being a business owner means you have a chance to increase your earning potential. It may take some time for profits to come in, as with any small business starting out, but you get the lion's share once they do. This isn't the case if you're working as an employee at a company, especially if it's a big one. There are countless stakeholders, and you're simply not one of them. By starting your business, you become the only stakeholder. So ask yourself, is your current job paying as well as you'd like to be paid? If not, that is usually the case, do you stand to make more money if you started a small business of your own? Many people in this economy already have side gigs where they freelance and work after their main job. Maybe this job has the potential to be turned into a full-time career where you're the business owner, following your passion. What if your current job pays well enough? Is it worth quitting to follow your passion and start a business in a field you enjoy? For a lot of people, the answer is yes. It happens more often than you'd think that someone leaves their secure job to dive into the world of entrepreneurship so they can follow their dreams. It can be quite fulfilling on so many levels to follow your dreams. A 9-to-5 job may be secure, but some people find it doesn't fulfill them on a deeper level. When someone starts a company, they don't do it because they have to. They do it because they want to. You'll be doing something you love, and who wouldn't want to turn their passions into profits? When you start your entrepreneurial journey, you'll also get to meet people like you in the same field and enjoy the same things. These networking opportunities help on the professional level and the personal one. When you start a business out of passion, you find it in you to keep going, no matter how bad it gets. Almost 2/3 of small businesses survive for only 2 years before things go south. There is a chance for failure, but there is also a chance for success. Those that follow their passions and turn them into businesses are the ones that get past those challenging few years until they find success. Being your own boss. This is one of the most satisfying perks of starting your own business for many people. You answer to no one. This is particularly more cherished by corporate veterans who have spent many years taking orders from managers who are less than competent in many cases. If you've ever made a call that was ignored by your superiors, despite you knowing it was the right call, you'll come to appreciate being your own boss. You make the decisions, and you have the final say on how the business moves forward. It might be a bit scary to be the only one who shoulders the responsibility since you make the final call, but great rewards come with great risks. Besides, if you keep avoiding risks, you'll never grow as a professional, and you will keep working for others that don't fear risks as much as you do. On the other hand, being your own boss also means you have flexible working hours. You don't have to punch the clock day in, day out. Many small business owners end up working more than their fixed-hour job, but there is a key difference here. You get to decide when to work and how much effort you're willing to put in, not your boss. Learning opportunity. When you start your company, you'll suddenly face parts of the professional world that you may not have come across before. You'll get a crash course in every one of these, from strategizing the business to finance, accounting, and marketing. This presents a valuable learning opportunity that can benefit any professional. You get to learn about various fields, and not just the headlines. You dive deep into the intricacies of those fields because it's your company, and every risk is yours to take. Being a business owner means you're not limited to a certain role, as is the case with most jobs. You go beyond your job description because there is none. You will play many roles in your small business, especially in the early days, and you'll learn and grow like you never have before because of it. You will work better under pressure and improve your time management skills. Your financial literacy will skyrocket because it has to. You will learn how to adapt to change, and your people skills will be improved as you manage a team. The problem with working the same job for many years is that many of us stop learning after a while and can repeat the mundane tasks time after time without much room for growth. But remember, as a business owner, you never stop learning. It becomes a way of life rather than a mindset. Around every new corner for your business, you find a new opportunity to learn and grow as a professional and a person. The more you learn, the better you become at running a company, and the more successful your business will be. Taking control of your destiny. It can be easy to surrender to fate and let yourself be pulled in whichever direction life takes you. It's frustrating, but many people feel that they don't control where their careers take them. You can work at a company for a long time and be let go because the company wants to reduce costs. Or you could lose your job because another team messed up, so they're letting go people in large numbers. The good news is you can take control of your destiny if you start your own business. Your career would no longer be at the mercy of executives and business owners. When you become a business owner, you will make mistakes, but they'd be your mistakes. You can fix them and learn from the experience. In short, you stop being passive and you don't just go wherever the job takes you. As a business owner, you have clear goals and you work toward them, with no one there to stop you or hamper your growth. Believe it or not, when you're the business owner, you can actually achieve job security. A lot of factors come into play when you work for someone. If your boss doesn't like you, your promotions can be halted indefinitely regardless of your job performance. Your career advancement and the benefits that you get are out of your hands when you work for someone, so you can't control what becomes of your professional life. When you run things, you're investing in your future. And when your business succeeds, you'll have job security. You won't be thinking about the constant risk of losing your job for any reason. Helping others. Have you ever felt disillusioned with corporate structures and how many companies do things? Well, you can be confident that you're not alone. Many people, especially millennials and younger generations, share that frustration. They don't want to sacrifice their peace of mind for a job that doesn't even pay that well. When you start your business, you have the chance to help others like you. When you run a company, you can generate jobs for others. You'll hire people you see potential in and who you can train to be successful, rather than following the style of big companies who hire staff with supposedly impressive resumes. You get to help those who might not have had a chance to work and be successful, and being able to do that is fulfilling in itself. While you can work at a job where you add value, there is much more room to add value and positively impact society as a business owner. A lot of successful entrepreneurs who started from scratch did that. If you have a nonprofit dream project you've always wanted to take on, you can make that decision as a successful business owner. When you're running the company, the sky's the limit for how you can help others. Many business owners were denied opportunities in their past for a variety of reasons, often unfair. And if you've been there, you can turn it around with your company. On a similar note, with you running a business, you can create exactly the kind of working environment that you wished had been there in your previous job. Finding the motivation to go to work every day can be difficult when you're working for someone else, but as an employer, you can create an uplifting environment that makes your team wake up wanting to come to work. You'll be motivated to come to work every day to grow your business, and your team, no matter how big or small, will draw inspiration from your passion and enjoy their jobs. Finding more time for yourself. Another perk of starting a business has the time to do all the things you never could do before. As we mentioned earlier, you have more flexibility with your time when you run things, so you could pick up an instrument or engage in any hobby that you've always been curious about. More importantly, you find more time to cultivate healthy relationships. You can make more time for your family and set your schedule around your kids' soccer practice or music recital. There are no limits to what you can do with your time when you're the boss. At the end of the day, in most cases, people know when it's time to start their own business. You'll see an opportunity ripe for the taking, an unfulfilled market need, and you'll know that you have just the right idea to fill that gap. It doesn't even have to be a new product or an unprecedented business idea. In many cases, it's simply the matter of providing a service or a product better than others in the market are doing it. Being your own boss offers flexibility and potential for profit that you could never find while working for someone else. That alone should be enough reason to get you emotionally invested in the idea of your own business. Getting started. Now that you're on board and are ready to start your business, you probably already have an idea lurking in your head that's ready to be turned into a profitable business. The question is, how do you start? An idea isn't enough. You need to do a lot of work to get this idea off the ground and begin turning it into money. In this chapter, we will explore different approaches to how you can refine your idea and how you should approach a major step as starting a small business. The idea. You can't start a small business without an idea. If you have one, that's great. You can skip to the next step. What if you don't, but you still want to take this leap? You still can. But you'll need to do some research to find out what kind of business ideas work for you. The thing about small businesses is that they shouldn't require a major upfront investment. Most people who take this step are doing it to get out of financial difficulties rather than getting into them. The last thing you need is to start a business while owing tens of thousands of dollars. Fortunately, there are a lot of small business ideas that are great for beginners and people with busy schedules, and they don't need significant upfront costs. The key is finding out where your current skills can come into play. Online courses. The first small business idea you should consider is giving online courses, a form of digital product. The internet's penetration into most countries worldwide has created a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to utilize their abilities to make money. Since giving online courses requires minimal resources, a laptop and good internet basically, it is a great place to start. It doesn't have to be an academic course. Take some time to consider your current skills and ask yourself this: which of them can be monetized? People go online to learn about all sorts of things, from woodworking to playing an instrument. If you have a particular set of skills and you're confident that you can transfer those skills to someone else, you can set up an online course and teach people worldwide. If you do a good enough job, you can make a name for yourself and turn it into a successful small business. Digital products. Online courses are a form of digital product, but there are countless other options out there. Artists have access to a myriad of opportunities if they play their cards right. You can use music, digital paintings, stock photos, short stories, and even podcasts to start an online business. The great thing about selling digital products is the fact that you don't need shipping costs as you would physical products. And there are also no manufacturing expenses. You can literally start offering your services a day or two after settling on the business idea. Handmade products. It might seem daunting to start a small business that could take on major brands, but it works if you offer a product that people like and need. There is a significant market for artisan and handmade products that display expert craftsmanship. Take Etsy as a simple example. This e-commerce website is focused on handmade products, and it's been going strong for years now. It gives artists and creators the chance to display their work and set whatever price they see fair, and many people buy from these sellers. If you have a certain skill and can make homemade products, it might be the perfect place to start your small business. From soaps and candles to paintings, pottery, and jewelry, handmade products command respect and feel much different from their mass-produced counterparts. You can also dabble in fashion and start your own brand. Sure, the production won't be huge at first, but with more people getting to know your brand, you can slowly expand and grow your business. Drop shipping. If you want to start an e-commerce business on a medium to large scale, you could run into quite a few roadblocks. You need to buy inventory, find the place to store it, and then ship products to buyers, which is difficult and costly. This is where drop shipping comes in. It's an easy and low-cost approach to starting a small business. With drop shipping, a third party provides the inventory and ships to buyers on your behalf. In other words, you don't handle the product. The third party handles everything from storing to shipping, saving you endless amounts of stress and money. As the buyer, you simply sell your products to buyers and pass them along to the third party suppliers. The fun thing with drop shipping is the fact that you're not stuck with one supplier. You can get products from different ones and add them to your online store in a specific category, and buyers will get to choose which product they like the most. When they do, you reach out to the supplier of that particular product and fulfill the order. With drop shipping, your main responsibility is marketing and customer care. These were just a few quick examples of the different businesses you can start, but you can start with anything you want. There are no limits to what you can or can't do to start a small business. If you're good at it and it's legal, then go for it. Refining the idea. Figuring out your business idea is only the beginning. The real work comes after that. An idea needs to be refined so you can figure out your next move and begin monetizing your concept. You can't say that you want to start a dropshipping business and start with no clear direction in mind. There are some steps that you need to follow to get your company off the ground. Market research. Market research is probably the most important step for someone trying to start their own business. It's how you identify your target consumer so you can build marketing campaigns and tailor your product or service to their needs. It's also how you understand the competition you have in the market to distinguish your product from other players in the field. You wouldn't give an important work presentation without doing your homework on the topic at hand, and you shouldn't get into business without doing your homework on the field you plan on going into business in. Here's why you need market research. Consumer profile. Through market research, you begin to understand what your target consumer wants and how you can help them get it. What are your customers' pain points? How can you provide them with a product or service to fix that pain point? Is there even a consumer for your product? The kind of product or service that you want to offer may not have a market. But it's also possible that there is an audience for what you have to sell, but it isn't very vocal. Without a consumer profile, you risk everything, and you may spend time and money on a business that has no future. Consumer patterns. Now that you've known what kind of people you want to target, university students, moms, men, and so on, it's time to figure out their patterns. Where and how does your customer shop? If all they do is online shopping, introducing a business without a website and social media platforms would just be a waste of time. When you conduct thorough market research, you find the best way to reach your customers. On the other hand, you also need to understand their shopping patterns. Is your product in demand? How do consumers usually find products or services like yours? How do they pay for it? These are all relevant questions that market research can help you answer. Keep up with trends. Markets change all the time, and with thorough research, your business can keep up with that change. If consumer patterns or demand for your product or service change over time, regular market research is how you can adapt and stay in business. Competition. One of the biggest ways you can benefit from market research is by understanding the competition. How many companies out there offer a similar product to yours? By understanding market saturation, you minimize the risk by knowing what kind of competition you're coming up against. The chances are, quite a few companies are already offering what you want to offer. The catch is, how will you present your product differently? You know what consumers pay your competitor through market research, so maybe you can set better prices. In short, market research helps you find an edge over any other competitors that might have similar products. So, how do you do market research? You have two options: existing resources or new research done by you. If you use existing resources for your market research, you might save time and a lot of effort. However, you risk using outdated information. Consumer behavior changes all the time, and what was true about a certain market a month ago might not be today. On the other hand, going to the consumer and doing the research yourself incurs some expenses and effort, but it gives you the latest data and lets you speak directly to the people you want to sell to. The optimal way to go about it would be to use existing resources to answer general questions about the market, like household incomes and market trends. You'd be much better off talking directly to your target audience through surveys, focus groups, and questionnaires for more nuanced answers that can give you clear insights into particular consumers. This will get you the answers you need about specific points in the business, like product qualities and user experience. Moreover, talking directly to consumers means you can ask them about your own business and see what they think of the logos and even particular products. Write your business plan. Next, you need to write your business plan. This document is not only important to help you find investors, but also to organize your thoughts. When you write a business plan, you have no option but to be methodical and think everything through in detail. Moreover, with a business plan, you start asking yourself questions that you might not have considered before. How much money would it take to launch your small business? And where will you get it? What is the product or service you're offering in clear and simple terms? What is your end goal? Is the business scalable? These questions and many more will force themselves into your business plan and make you think about the long-term prospects of your small business. It's even a good idea to consider an exit strategy while writing a business plan. No one starts a business with the hopes of selling or leaving it, but as an entrepreneur, you have to think of every possibility. Thinking of an exit strategy forces you to think about the future and consider the possible directions your business might go. How to write a business plan. For all intents and purposes, a business plan is a guide or a roadmap on how you will start and run your business. While there is no correct way to write a business plan, certain formats are followed in the business world. The plan can attract investors and partners, showing the world that you are serious and ready to start making money. To write a business plan, you need to show this. A traditional business plan uses a common structure and elaborates in detail the specifics of each part of the plan. Despite being quite long and exhausting to make, it is the most common type you'll see. On the other hand, a lean business plan is much shorter. It can be just a page or two long. It focuses on the most relevant parts of your business and highlights the key points. Traditional business plans are usually made up of 8 or 9 sections. Executive Summary. This is the short summary where you tell everyone reading the plan what your company is and why your business will succeed. An executive summary should highlight your product or service, the brand's mission statement, and some information about the team and the location. Try to include some financial information and projections on where you see the company a year from now, and if you have expansion plans, include them. Company Summary. This is where you expand on the company and what consumer pain problem you plan on solving. You can go into detail here and specify your target audience profile and organizations you might collaborate with. What competitive edge does your business have that is worth investors considering financing your company? Are there subject matter experts on your team? Who are they, and what are their credentials? In short, this section is where you really sell it to potential investors and show your strengths. Products and services. In this part, you go in depth into your products and services. Explain what you have to offer and how customers can benefit from your product. You should also show what your product supply chain looks like and any research and past or ongoing development plans. Market analysis. This is where you show the results of your market research. Explain how you perceive the market and your target audience. You should also talk about the competition and their competitive edges and weaknesses. What are current market trends and themes? What are companies in the same field doing that is working, and what's not? How can you do better? Go into great depth into the answers of these questions, because the market analysis is where you show your business in light of others. Marketing. Any good company needs to have a solid marketing plan. There isn't exactly a right way to go about your marketing strategy, though some agreed upon techniques and strategies are available. In this part, just focus on your plans to attract and, more importantly, retain customers. What's your unique selling point, and how do you plan on approaching your target audience? You should also touch on your sales and how they will occur. Will you have online options, or will it all be in store? The more you elaborate on your marketing and sales strategies in this section, the easier it becomes to go back to this part when making financial projections. Organizational chart. While we're talking about a small business, you should still explain the organization and hierarchy, even if it's just a 5-person company. This part explains who will run things and who reports to whom. What will the team look like? How will you employ your people's skills and experience? You should also include your company's legal structure, LLC, limited partnership, or sole proprietorship. Financial plan. This might be the most challenging part of a business plan, because it's where you have to convince whoever is reading that your business is in a good place, not to mention scalable, and has the potential to be a success. If you're starting a small business, you might have already been up and running by the time you write this. If that is the case, include balance sheets and current cash flow, as well as any other relevant financial information, like income statements. If you plan on asking for a business loan against collateral, you should mention the collateral in your financial plan. You'll need to add financial projections covering everything, from budget to profit, for the next 5 years. Appendix. The appendix is where you add any relevant documents that might have been requested by investors, like resumes, credit history, legal documents, contracts, and product pictures or information. You can include other sections, like funding requests, if you plan on applying for funding, which is where you outline how much money you'll need for a specific period of time and how you'll be spending that money. As you can see, the traditional business plan is long and exhaustive, and it could take weeks to be written properly. On the other hand, the lean business plan has different components and is much shorter. Key strategy. Summarize your business strategy in a few bullet points, highlighting consumer pain points and how you will solve them. You should also add your target audience and markets. Partnerships. As lean business plans are more suited for startups, you should include a section about key partnerships. Think of the businesses and services you'll work with, and suppliers and other strategic partners. Resources. Highlight the key assets you'll use to create value for your target audience. This can include intellectual property, tech, experienced staff, or working capital. Revenue and cost. Summarize your company's approach toward creating value for customers. Are you reducing the cost of a product or service, or offering maximum value? How much will this cost? After outlining costs, you should tackle revenue and show how your company can generate money. Financing and legal structure. Coming up with a business idea and refining it into a business plan means you're on the right track. However, the challenging part is yet to come. One obstacle that any business, small or big, has to overcome is that of securing financing. You'll need money to make money, no matter what business model you have. Even if you're an online store that sells custom products, you still need an online presence and invest in some initial products you can list on your pages. Before you explore funding options, you need to figure out how much you'll need, which is where the business plan comes in. When you create a comprehensive one, you begin to understand just how much of an upfront investment it would take to get your business off the ground. Do you need the money to buy and store goods? Or do you need it to buy a domain? Maybe your upfront investment is in the form of a digital tool, like a powerful laptop or a camera. Whatever it is, it should be outlined in your business plan so you can start looking for financing in the right places. You have to consider all your initial expenses and the revenue stream before you look for financing. The last thing you want to happen is to find an investor only to ask for the wrong amount of money. If you ask for too little money, it will run out before you meet your goals. Some of the common expenses for small businesses and startups include supplies, office space, utilities, salaries, website design and creation, inventory, lawyer and accountant fees, marketing, insurance, and permits. These are examples of directions you have to consider, so they're not inclusive of all expenses you'll run into as you're starting your business. Once you write a detailed list of the expenses your business will need, do some math and add up the total cost. For example, this may include fixed costs like tools or licenses and permits, which have published costs that anyone can find. Other factors might have variables, like employee salaries, which are often contingent on experience. It helps to look at other companies like yours to see their expenses and understand the market average for salaries and the kind of equipment you need to buy for your business. There are plenty of vendors in the market, and some of them are pricier than others, but if you do your homework, you can always get good prices. After figuring out your full expenses, you should detail them with the help of an accountant. Divide your expenses into monthly and one-time expenses. Monthly expenses include salaries and utilities like electricity and the internet. One-time payments are licenses and permits, logo designers, and anything else you pay once you're first starting. With an overview of how much money you need, it's time to start looking for financing. Financing options. Self-funding. Also known as bootstrapping, self-funding is when you start your small business with as little funding as possible, and you do it without relying on outside investors. You use your own financial resources to self-fund and get your business up and running. Many startup founders do it to avoid getting into debt or meeting with investors before they get their business off the ground. Perhaps the easiest way to self-fund is to turn to friends and families to lend you money. This is a great option because friends and family won't charge you interest rates as a bank would, and they wouldn't necessarily ask for equity in your business in exchange for their loan. However, it can put you in an awkward position with the people you care about, so keep that in mind before going down that road. Friends and family aside, you can turn to your own savings to bootstrap. Savings accounts and retirement plans make for great options when you're looking for early financing to launch your business. This naturally takes a lot of pressure off your back because you don't owe anybody anything. You fund the business with your own money, and you get to call the shots. When there are investors involved, they get a say in the direction of the business. Self-funding options, in general, give you complete control over the business, but you also bear significant risk, and you do it alone. Tapping into your savings accounts and retirement plans might be problematic if you make more money than you can afford, and it could cost you penalties and even jeopardize your entire savings. It always helps to talk to a financial advisor before delving into self-funding options. Small business grants. Grants are one of the better options for business owners, if not the best. They differ from loans in that a business grant isn't paid back and doesn't entail giving the provider equity. However, grants can be very competitive, and there are often some criteria that your company must meet before you're considered eligible for one. It helps to look for business grants with a unique angle that could be beneficial to your situation, like women-owned business grants. If you're starting a business in the U.S., there are several options when it comes to small business grants. Corporate grants. Quite a few major corporations offer grants to small businesses. Some might be in specific industries, given to nonprofits, but others are open to all applicants, including for-profit companies. Applicants for corporate grants can be quite competitive, and the financing can range from $4,000 to $50,000, depending on the company. Federal and state grants. If you want to finance your small business, government agencies are also a great place to try. They cover a wide variety of fields like environmental conservation and tech innovation. Check the requirements for federal business grants in your location, and if your company matches the eligibility criteria, apply. State grants are on a smaller scale but are equally beneficial. Each state offers them to support entrepreneurs, and some offer training and technical assistance next to financial support. Specific grants. As we mentioned earlier, you can access alternative business grants if you fall under one or more of those categories. Specific grants are created to include all people in financial support options and promote inclusion. Some companies are also invested in directing their financing efforts toward particular communities. You can find small business grants for minorities, Black men and women, or veterans. There are also grants geared at women in general, aiming to level the playing field, especially in male-dominated businesses. Business loan. While grants are a better option, they are often highly competitive, and few small businesses can get them. Loans, on the other hand, can be acquired with an application. However, getting a commercial loan from a bank is sometimes challenging, and the process can be long and complicated. The challenge with bank loans is that, in most cases, you'll be asked to provide collateral, a guarantee that you can pay the loan back, which could be a house, car, or any other asset. As a small business owner, you probably want to avoid having to pledge what little collateral you might have in case your business loses money. This is why it would be better to look for small business loan options without collateral. And fortunately, they exist. Various lenders offer different loans that don't require collateral, although you would have to assume some kind of financial responsibility to pay the money back. One of those options is a line of credit, which is basically a specific amount of money that you can tap into whenever you need it for your small business. When you reach the preset limit, you can't take any more until you start paying back. With an open line of credit, as you pay back the money, you can start borrowing again. There's also a type of business loan called a term loan, which is when a lender gives you a specific amount of cash up front and you are to pay it back according to the preset borrowing terms. Term loans are usually given to small businesses that are already up and running and have solid financial statements. You ask the lender for an amount of money and agree to the repayment schedule and the interest rate set by the lender. It's a good idea to put as much of a down payment as you can afford with term loans to lower your payments. If your small business sells a product to customers who often take a long time to pay their invoices, invoice financing is a good option. This is when you borrow money with a guarantee that you're going to pay it back from the amount you're due from your customers. Invoice financing is a great option for your small business if you want to improve cash flow and grow your operations. You can get this kind of loan earlier than expected and begin working on your plans rather than wait for your customers to pay the amount in full. The lender will get a percentage of the invoice for lending you the money, and you'll get the cash you need to keep your business going. A similar type of loan is inventory financing, which is when you get a loan to buy products that you will then sell later. Your inventory will serve as the collateral for your loan, and when you sell your products, you can pay the lender back. Inventory financing is ideal for small businesses that have to pay their suppliers in advance so you can purchase, store, and sell your products. Last but not least, if you don't want to deal with banks or lenders, you can look for government loans for small businesses, like those given by the U.S. Small Business Administration, which are provided to small businesses to facilitate their growth. Find an investor. If you can do it, finding an investor for your small business can make your life a whole lot easier. Investors give you money, but in many cases, they also offer support and counseling to protect their investment. If your small business has growth potential, most investors won't ask you to repay the loan, but would instead ask for equity in the company. A venture capital investor takes a higher risk than traditional lenders in exchange for higher gains down the road. You can resort to those kinds of investors when you're trying to expand your business and potentially heading to ventures with a slightly higher risk. Venture capitalists usually help startups that are already established and can present them with a solid visualization of their long-term growth plans, not to mention demonstrating that they have the team that could bring about that success. Venture capitalists are usually companies, but if a wealthy individual invests in companies with high growth potential, it's called an angel investor. An angel investor has not just the money, but also the resources and the experience in a particular field to support a company they're investing in. Angel investors usually invest enough money in small businesses so no other investors would need to. Unlike venture capitalists, angel investors come on board when the business is just getting started, but they do expect a high return on their investment. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding has been a very popular option these past few years, and many small businesses used it to get started. The most common type of crowdfunding is when a small business asks for donations from people who aren't treated as investors. Crowdfunders don't get equity, and they don't get their money back. Instead, the company sends them gifts or rewards for helping take the business off the ground. This gift is almost always the product that you sell, but there can be other perks that crowdfunders would want, like having their names mentioned by the company or even meeting the owners. Crowdfunding is a great option for small businesses offering cool products, like affordable luxury-looking watches or tech products. It's also great for companies that are in the creative business and produce documentaries or videos where you can add the crowdfunders' names in the credits. What's even better is the almost non-existent risk that crowdfunding poses for business owners, as you don't give equity to anyone and you keep full control over your company. Moreover, if the company doesn't go anywhere, you don't have to pay anyone back, since crowdfunding is basically getting donations from people who liked your business idea. You should carefully check any crowdfunding platform you plan on using and make sure you read the fine print. The terms and conditions can and will probably vary from one platform to the other, so consider that as you're selecting a platform. Once you do, set up an account, start marketing your products online, and try to reach as many people as possible. The more people know about the kind of services you provide and why they'd want to support you, the more money you'll be able to get. Business structure. You'll soon need to register your company, but before you can do that, you need to decide what kind of entity it will be. Your company's legal structure affects everything, from your taxes to your personal finances if things don't go your way. The structure of your company is about finding the right balance between legal and financial protection, and you should always consult a lawyer before settling on it. Limited liability company. This is the most common type of business structure, and it's one that you'll find in most countries. The advantage that LLCs provide is that your personal assets are separated from the company's, so you're protected against liability in case your company fails. In other words, creditors can't come after your personal money if your business fails to meet its financial obligations. A limited liability company can have one or more owners. Sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is when you register as the business's sole owner, which means all the company's financial and legal obligations are your responsibilities. This type of company is probably the easiest and fastest to create, but it entails significant risk. If things don't go your way, your personal finances can be in danger. As the sole proprietor, you're responsible for paying the company's debts and fulfilling all its obligations. On the plus side, you also reap all the rewards. Partnership. Unlike a sole proprietorship, a partnership entails two persons being liable for the company's fiscal obligations rather than just one. This is a good option because it splits the risk and the responsibilities, and it helps to have someone whose skills and resources can complement yours. In a partnership, you also split the rewards and profits. An example of partnership companies is law firms and real estate investment firms. Corporation. A corporation means your company's liability is separated from your own. There are different types of corporations: S, C, and B corporations. Each has its own guidelines and taxation, but a corporation generally separates your personal assets from a company's. This means a corporation can buy property, pay taxes, and do anything else an individual can. For example, with a C corporation, the business structure entails the proprietors being taxed separately from the company.